Welcome to the Quick Start for Mapping using MicroStation Connect Edition. We're now going to be taking a look at how we attach other data that we'd like to use in our map. So a map is typically not a single file, but rather it's a drawing that's linked to a collection of data that is stored in external files and models. In this particular video, what we're going to do is take a look at how we can attach that data. We're going to attach a boundary for the county, a grid for the county, and other geographic features such as references to our map master model. So we're going to learn how to attach external drawings and references to the active file. The way we're going to do this is by going to our Home tab, then to the Primary Ribbon Group. From the Primary Ribbon Group, we're going to select Attach Tools. Now, I can either select the downward arrow here to attach references, images such as what we call raster images or rasters, or point clouds. If I just select the top part here, then it's going to automatically open up the first one, which is references or whatever's highlighted. So here's my references dialog. And of course, what we're doing is we're bringing in the graphics from another file or model. In this case, it's going to be both. It's going to be another model in another file. The idea behind references is a look but don't touch system. You can look at my graphics, you can print them, you can control their display, but you cannot edit the graphics, and that's a very nice system. The references automatically update when the source file updates as well. So my map master, which is made up of references, will automatically reflect any changes that might occur in another file. So I can go to the Tools pull-down menu inside the References dialog or select Attach. It's the only icon available right now. And here, if I go to Tools, I also get the ability to attach a reference. So when I go to the Attach Reference dialog, there's the option for me to look for a variety of different things. So right now it's showing me a border file. I want to go up one folder from here in this case and actually open up the DGN folder. So I'm going to go to C:/ Quick Start for Mapping /DGN. From the DGN folder, I want to open up the Broward County file, and there it is, geo_Broward County. Of course, this is just north of Miami. So I'm going to go ahead and select this file to open, and I can click on Open or simply click on this file. This then opens up my reference attachment dialog. Inside the reference attachment dialog, there's a lot of different settings. You can see it's a pretty big dialog with lots of things to do in here. I have the option of, so now I've selected a file. I now need to select a model within that file that I'd like to attach. And I want to attach county boundary. So let's go ahead and do county grid. We'll go ahead and grab county grid, and then I want to use a geographic coordinate system as a way for calculating my transform of attaching. So I'm going to use the geographic reprojected. It's going to reproject all of my reference data to the master geographic coordinate system. If you remember, that was the EPSG 2236 coordinate system. A variety of other things I can do at this stage. You'll notice scale is handled for me. I don't really need anything else turned on. Just want to make sure I turn on my true scale so that if there is any differences, if this Broward County grid file or model is actually in another unit system, it's going to automatically adjust the units for me. It's one of the nice things about the software. It does all the math for you. You don't have to think about conversion. So there it is. I've actually go ahead and clicked on OK once I've got those two settings. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the fit view command. And this is going to fit all of my graphics to the view. And there it is. There's my Broward County grid. In this next one, I'm going to go ahead and attach the actual county boundary. So I'll go back to my reference dialog, select Attach Reference. I'm going to select Broward County again. And at this time, I'm going to pick up County Boundary. I'm also going to use a reprojected system here. And I also want to make sure that my true scale is turned on, which it is. It's enabled. So I'll go ahead and click on OK. And there's my county boundary now. You can see there's a couple of different shapes in here that control the way things look. They're filled in with a solid color. I can actually change this by going to my view attributes. Here's the view attributes icon. It's found in your view control toolbar, or you can go directly to the view tab of your ribbon and select View Attributes. These allow me to control the display of the view. I have a lot of different things I can turn on and off inside my View Attributes, and one of the things I want to turn on in this particular case is my transparency. So there already is a transparency set for those elements, and because I've made the solid filled colors transparent, they were already assigned. I didn't have to actually set the value for the transparency. All I have to do is turn on the transparency attribute and say, I want to see transparency. So now I have my county boundary attached. I want to double check a couple quick things here. You'll notice that I have my grid here, but there's actually some grid text inside here. It's hard to see, but I can actually change that by going to my Utilities tab. And in the Utilities tab, I can go to my drawing scale and change the scale of my text. So this is my print scale. So right now it's set to 1:1, and obviously, usually our print is 1/8 of an inch tall, or just a couple of millimeters tall, 4 or 5 millimeters tall. And that's not going to show up very well, given that if we did a measurement here, we'd see that this is several miles, several tens of miles. So I need to scale up my text, and I do that very easily by using my annotation scale tool. And I find the correct scale that I want to use here, which is 1 inch is equal to 500 feet. And of course, that's a 6,000 to 1 scale. And now my text shows up rather nicely. So a lot of different things can be scaled with annotation scale, not just text. So things like cells and all sorts of other objects can be controlled through annotation scales. I'm going to now also attach some additional data. So I'm going to continue attaching reference files and essentially use the same method I applied to the county grid and county boundary references. So back to my Home tab. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and use the Attach tools again. And I'm going to go ahead and select Attach. And in this particular case, I want to attach the major roads, the parks, and the streets. So there's major roads. And I can hold my Shift key down and select multiple files. And I'm going to add these for attachment. So if I click on Open, it's only going to attach the first one. So I want to add the entire list of selected files. So these are the files that you're going to be attaching. And I just click on Open. And again, it takes me into this particular dialog. I just want to make sure I have Geographic Reprojected selected. And my True Scale is on. These all have just a default model. This is for streets right now. And now it's going to take me to major roads, same thing, reprojected, all good. That pulls that in, and there's my parks, all good. So pretty straightforward. You have to set your settings for each particular one. Now I can see that I have 5 references attached, 5 separate files and models. And here I can see the parks and the streets and the major roads of Broward County. Now, we also have a roadway widening project that we want to do. So in a particular part of the county, we have essentially received a file from an engineering firm, and we need to show the location of the roadway widening project along with our geographic data. So we need to show this information along with the surrounding location information for display, and that way we can take a close look at that area and see what kind of issues we may encounter based on the major roads and the streets and the parks and everything else. So let's go back and open up a file by attaching it. So once again, we go back to Attach in our Home tab, and we're going to go ahead and attach a file, attach a reference, and this is called roadway widening project.dgn. I'm going to go ahead and select roadway widening project, and from here I want to use the coincident methodology, and I want to turn on my live nesting. Now coincident is going to make the lower left-hand corner of the roadway widening project coincident with the lower left-hand corner of the master map. It already has a geographic coordinate system attached to it, so I don't need to worry about that. And in terms of nesting, it says if there's any files attached to roadway widening, please attach those files as well. So it's going to reference a reference. And now it's thinking about it and bringing in all of that data. There's my roadway widening project. And if you zoom in, right above G3, you can actually see this roadway widening project data. And now it's all in the context of Broward County. Eventually, we're going to trim away things and look at this information later on. We're going to do a little bit of editing and some modifications. Now, it is possible for me to control the display. So when I have all of these references attached, it's going to display these files in a specific sequence. So sometimes I want to update those sequences to improve the visibility of the data in my map. This allows me essentially to control the order of how it's displayed. So we do that through the update sequence command. And update sequence is available under our properties pull-down menu as update sequence. This opens up the update sequence dialog, and I can move things up and down. You'll notice that the master is displayed first, then the county grid, then the boundary, and then all the rest of these reference files. I'm going to do a quick change around here. So for example, I'm going to keep the master on top. And first thing I'm going to do is move the county boundary to the top. Then I'm going to move my park, my streets, and my roads up. And then I want my county grid, and lastly, I'm going to display the roadway widening last. So it'll be the last thing drawn. So it'll be on top. So there's my information with the updated sequence. You can see, for example, my text looks a little bit more clear. And I can see my information just with a slightly different sequence. So this is actually on top of that right now because of the sequencing. But we can control all of these things whenever we want to. So if you zoom in, you can observe the results right around the location G3. So updating your sequence happens once in a while. It's a helpful thing to do. So that's what our completed map should look like. We're ready to start doing some additional work here. And to make our life a little bit easier, we want to save this zoom level and all of the settings that we set up. So we go to the File pull-down, File tab. And from the File tab, we want to select settings, Save Settings. So go ahead and select Save Settings. This is going to save the active view settings in the design file for me. Once I've got the Save Settings done, I'm ready to continue with another part of the project, which we'll do in the next video.